Hey, friends. Surprise. Okay, so it's kind of a surprise live at my regular time because things have not happened the way they were supposed to happen today. I'm in a squeaky chair, so if you hear a lot of noise, that's what that is. Um, there's no less squeaky chair in here. Let me see what I can do. Okay, so I am in Vancouver. I'm actually on Vancouver Island in Canada with my bestie and her lovely family. I'm having strong feelings about today. I've been lied to. I have been lied to. Hold on. I'm going to clean my camera screen in a second. So you're going to see a big swipey swipe. Hold on one second. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Better already. Okay. I got here last night. Yesterday, sometime during the week, I was told that baby girl, my goddaughter, my first goddaughter, my precious, precious niece, wanted me to watch her play soccer. It was important that I go watch her play soccer today. She's in a competitive league, and so she needed me to be there. I couldn't just stay home while they play soccer. Now, the reason I would have stayed home is because it's like last night on the way back from the ferry, I came in on the ferry. It was 34 degrees Fahrenheit, 1.5 degrees Celsius. I live in Mexico. Now, I don't really live in like the hot part of Mexico, but it's not a 34-degree part. It's not. And y'all want me to sit outside and watch this girl run around on a field? Like, I love her. And I rarely tell her no. So I was like, cool, fine. Like, I'm gonna go. I find out last minute, but I'm gonna cancel. Whatever. This morning, we wake up. I'm like half asleep. I walk upstairs to get some water, and her dad's like, "No soccer. She had a fever last night. We're gonna test for COVID this morning." If y'all brought me to a house, if y'all brought me to a house, a COVID house, I'm fighting everybody. The dog, the cat, the dad, the mom, the boy, and the girl. Y'all fighting everybody. So, in like I think I found out that was 7:40 this time, and it's 8 o'clock now. So between 7:40 and 8 o'clock, I was like, I guess we going live because we're not going out. Now, here's the other thing. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop complaining in a minute. When you ask some questions in the comments, I'm gonna get to your questions. But until then, I have some complaints. Baby girl, my favorite, my bestie, um, my little bestie asked me to not see Black Panther until we could all see it together. Y'all, so instead of seeing Black Panther in the past week and a half it's been out, and instead of seeing it with other Black people like it's meant to be seen, I am on the widest place on earth. I'm not in Vancouver, I'm on Vancouver Island, which is a different species altogether. It's the widest place on earth. I will be the only Black person in the theater. Except we're supposed to go today. So now I can't see Black Panther? No, she might see this video. She probably does. I don't think she watches my channel. I don't think she knows I have a channel. Let's keep it like that. I love you so much. I wouldn't do this for anybody else. Could you imagine if I don't get to see Black Panther after she asked me to wait to see it in Whitelandia, where there's no like, and now she's sick. Y'all, I'm mad. But like, how do you stay mad at like your little bestie? Is this what y'all go through with kids? I was up this morning like, "This is what y'all go through? You make plans, and they ask us be too sick, too tired, do something to do something?" "Girl, what?" Her dad was like, "Well, what do you want us to do?" I said, "Homeschool them. When I'm coming, homeschool them. Kick their asses out of school because some kinda some kinda sickery is not okay. It's not okay. What is happening?" So I'm in the basement. I have a basement room I can go in and out of, so I don't actually have to go upstairs. If I was sick, they would bring food to me. If they're sick, they've got the kitchen, so I don't know what I would do. I'll figure it out. But they met me so this is why I'm, like, fake mad. They met me at the airport. Well, no. Their mom picked me up at the airport with her mother-in-law. They picked me up. Um, and her mom is my best friend. We've been best friends since high school. Um, that's why I come to Canada every year. She's been here since freshman year of college. Her mom picked me up at my school in a t-shirt with my face on it. All right now, like, okay. I sent her a TikTok earlier this year of a guy who came to pick up his friend with like little pictures of his face all over like t-shirt and shorts and socks. Like he was head to toe, the little man's face. And I was like, this is what if I'm coming to Vancouver, because we were supposed to be doing this in Mexico this year, but other things got in the way. Um, so it made more sense for me to come here instead of all four of them coming to Mexico. I was like, if I'm coming, you got to have my face. It was like that, socks, everything. It wasn't like that, but she had my she had a photo from a previous Thanksgiving in Vancouver on her t-shirt. Yes. And then, because getting to Vancouver Island is a thing, they picked me up in Vancouver. Her mom did. And then we met the kids on the other side of the ferry. There's a 2-hour ferry to the island. And the kids were there with this sign. I mean, how can I be mad? How can I be mad at this? How can I be mad at this? Look at this. She told me in the car, she was like, I told all my friends that you're my favorite aunt. And I was like, that's right. That's right. You tell them. Them other ones that you're really related to or your aunt through marriage. You don't know them people. You don't know them people. I'm your favorite. You tell them. Tell all the kids at school that your favorite aunt is coming because it's American Thanksgiving. They went to Disneyland last week and brought me back a t-shirt. So we all have matching t-shirts to wear to the movies that we might not actually be going to because she caught the claptrap. You went to school and got sick? Don't go to school. Simple. Simple. Don't go to school. All right. That's hot topics for the morning. And that's the explanation of why I said I wasn't going live. And then I'm going live. No, Black Person in the Basement. Yes, it's not a Jordan Peele movie. It is a whole suite. There's a bathroom, there's everything. Otherwise, I would be sharing a bathroom with 4 people. Instead, I have a bathroom to myself. I'll be in the basement. I will be in the basement for a very large bedroom and a bathroom to myself. Brand new. These were all they had them redone maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And I claimed them as my own. It's like when someone else is staying here, I'm like, you let your mama use my bathroom? And they're like, yeah. She was here for 2 days. It's fine. Um, instead of staying upstairs, probably in the girls' like one of her bunk beds. This is a better choice. It is. I'll be in the basement all day long. All right. So I saw some questions. Oh, and I saw someone join the membership. Wendy joined the membership. Welcome to the membership, Wendy. Okay. Vancouver is beautiful. Vancouver is beautiful. Vancouver Island is beautiful. But like every year we come, since probably like at least the past 15 years, every year we I come to Vancouver or Vancouver Island, my best friend and I count the number of Black people we see because I need her to know you are dragging me to a place where I can count on my hands the number of people who look like me. The number of people who look like me, I can count on my hands, and I'm here for like 10 days, right? The number of people who look like me and actually acknowledge me is a much smaller number. You dragged me to this white hinterland. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. But and Vancouver is much more diverse than Vancouver Island is, significantly. Anyway, uh, Dara, I see you in the comments. Where in the world are you? You've been on a birthday shenanigan exploration. Good morning, Sonia. Hey, Adelia. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Tammy. Yep. Everyone's supposed to be alive. They told me last night. No, you got to go to soccer. And now, Washington, Tammy, you in Washington? Are you in Seattle or are you somewhere else? Charles, how tall do you think I am? You can guess in the comments. You're not going to get it right, though. Go ahead and guess, Charles. 1.5 Celsius, about 34 Fahrenheit. I said, can I get back on the plane? What's happening? Why would you do this to me? Can we start celebrating Thanksgiving at a different time of year? Like, what is this? Woo! Okay. Oh gosh, I saw some questions. I don't get bored very easily. Okay, so David's question is, how did you handle the boredom / everyday elements when you're accumulating your savings for for financial independence, for anyone who's unfamiliar? So when I was saving for financial independence, I don't necessarily think I got bored because I was still living my life. I was saving. Now there's a couple different ways to approach saving money for your future. And what some people do when they are thinking about saving for financial independence, especially to retire early, is to like put all of their money towards savings and not really live a life, right? Like they are eating the cheapest meal all the time and they are doing cutting out all the fun things that cost money. And that's never going to be me, right? Like so I was still doing things. I was just really focused on savings. The other thing that helped me is that I've been saving for retirement since I was 18. From the very first job I had that allowed me to open a 401k, I was like, put the money in, right? And so I've steadily always saved some money for retirement. And so having, even though I'm not touching that money that's in my retirement accounts, having it now, retiring early and having that money now gives me like a more comfortable cushion, right? Like I'm not worried about not having that money in the future because it's there. So I wasn't really bored. I was still traveling. I was still doing fun things. Um, I just made sure that money was put aside first, and I did the fun things with the money I had left over. I also wasn't another way to think about it. I knew that I wanted to retire. I wanted to stop working by 40. However way that happened, let me stop working by 40. But I didn't know how it was gonna happen. Like, when I first had this plan, I think I was, like, 30. So that was close to 15 years ago. And financial independence, retire early, those phrases weren't really that popular back then, so I wasn't, like, focused on a plan. I was just like, I put money aside every paycheck. I save money every paycheck. And so there was no, like, grand goal to save this amount of money. It was just I had a goal, I wanted it to happen, and I like having money saved, right? So there was no like, I need to save $500,000. And so every week I'm like, how much closer am I to $500,000? It wasn't like that. It was just like, I need to save money. So put the money in the pot. And so what happened for me with financial independence was one day I looked at how much money I had and I was like, oh, I got to go back to work. I don't ever have to talk to anybody again if I don't want to talk to them. Right? Instead of like what's happening now is a lot of people are going the other way around. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a savings goal and trying to hit that because that's how you hit a number. Like how you hit a goal is by making a goal. Um, but my situation was just different. I wasn't like waiting to hit it. I was just like, this is life. I'm saving because I need money. I don't like this working thing. These people are terrible. Okay, let's see. My favorite restaurant in Mexico City is hands down Quinto Neal. Their tasting menu, I think, is the best meal you'll get in the city. Now it's gonna run your pockets. It's I think it's around 200 now, maybe a little bit over for each person of the tasting menu. And if you add the wine pairing, it's another over 100. I don't add the wine pairing. It's too much liquor. I went there once and it was like a special chef's meal, and so you had to do the wine pairing. I barely made it home. Barely made it home. I was in the back of an Uber like drunk. I left there so drunk by doing the wine pairing. Like it was that time it was mandatory wine pairing. But definitely Quintonil. All right. You see the vibes. Yes, I'm a Taurus. Big Taurus energy. My birthday is May 18th. Big Taurus energy. Yes. All right. Let's see. Yes, Vancouver is um in the Pacific Northwest, north of Seattle in Canada. Vancouver Island is a little island off the side of it. You get here by seaplane, which I like doing, by ferry, or by my friend told me she's for work, she's done a helicopter a couple times. I said, "What? A helicopter? Oh, you fancy." And she's not a fancy girl, right? She was like, "I feel so special." She's like, "There's all these CEOs who do it." And like every once in a while, I think the way from where she's coming, it just makes more sense. I got in a helicopter. I got flown home, not home, but like from across the water in a helicopter. I said, "Oh, so there's fancy shit you're hiding from me?" Now I got to get on the helicopter. The seaplane is pretty cool though. It's my favorite ways to go across because like I think I've done it 3 times, and 2 of the times I've sat right next to the captain. I'm like, can I sit up front? And they're like, "Are you one of those, huh?" Yes, come on. And you put the headphones on, and you can hear him doing the little talky talk. It's fun. But I think the last time I did it is because I was the only person on the plane. And he was like, "Sure. You want to sit up front? You want that big window?" I do. I do. All right. What other question? Ki Y'all just be getting sick? Take these ki homeschool or, like, home not school, but not outside. Outside? If she has COVID. She doesn't know. She doesn't have it. It's just a cold. I'm telling myself this now. Will this for me, y'all, that nobody in this house has COVID. Because the way I was loving up on her last night, we, uh we watched the first Black Panther last night before so we could watch the second one today. Um, and we're all on one couch. And I went from like leaning on the boy to leaning on the girl because I fell asleep so many times that movie. I was so tired because we're 2 hours behind where I live in Mexico. So y'all gonna start a movie at 10 p.m. and think Rashida's gonna watch it? Done at 12? I was like, what's going on? Mm-mm. Shauna, where are you at? You're away from home? Tell us the story. All right. MA. What would you do if you were 40 years old in a toxic job with a small child and not much savings, trying desperately to stay sane and hold it all together? I think I need more information. So when you say what would you do, what would I do about what? Right? You're probably gonna keep that child, right? Y'all, y'all love to keep your children. But I think toxic job and small savings and not much savings are what we can do something about. So I would probably ask you what is keeping you in the toxic job versus trying getting a not trying, but getting a different one that's less toxic and pays more money. Because trying to hold your life together with a child, they are hard. Not much savings and a toxic job feels like a lot of work. A lot of work. I would definitely be trying to get a different job. I would make getting a different job my part-time job. Because toxic jobs don't get better. I have never seen someone be like, my job is toxic. Oh, everything changed for the better, right? People are usually like, oh, my job is fine. And something happens. Ask the people at Twitter. My job is fine. And then something changed. And now it's chaos and terribleness. All right. Well, Wendy, welcome to the channel. Wendy F66. Welcome to being a channel member. If anyone wants to join the membership, we go live usually after this, and then we did a Zoom chat this week. We'll do some co-working sessions, which you've done some before. So yeah, and there's some behind the scenes stuff. I filmed some behind the scenes stuff because Marissa Price from our membership requested it, and that'll get up when I edit it. I'm not sure if we're going live today. I need to check and see what the situation above ground is and see if people are sick and what the plan is. I'll find out though. All right. How were we supposed to yell at the screen watching the movie in Vancouver? Like when I watched the first one, I watched it in Oakland at the Grand Lake Theater. So when Oakland 1992 popped up on the screen, when you could hear the Too Short playing, it was wild. Wild in there. And now I got no Vancouver Island. Also, baby girl wants to be in a theater where she can hear everything and she does not hear people responding. So she has already mentioned to her mom that she wants a quiet movie experience because her mom and I are not quiet people. We don't act a fool in there, right? And she's like, I really want to really be able to like get it all. And so I don't want to be somewhere where people are loud. I think they talked about watching it in California last week. And she was like, I'd rather watch it in a quiet place. You hating ass little. It's supposed, at least the first time, it's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to be an experience. It's not just what you see on the screen, it's who you see it with. It's how we all come together to watch it and experience it as a family. You want it to be quiet. Lucky I love you. Lucky I love you the most. So Rick said after suffering, Khaleesi's husband Rick said after suffering all kids have run, but if this is what folks were going through, we cannot imagine the full effect. I have had the full effect, which is why that Omicron ripped through my entire body. I had all the symptoms. I had a terrible fever. I I was in Cancun with the air conditioning off and under all the blankets in the bed in a hotel, and I had to have them bring me extra blankets because I was so cold. My fever was so high that, like, I was so cold that I was like, all the blankets, give me the blankets. Air conditioning off in Cancun, doors open, give me the air, give me all of that heat, give it all to me. Now it's probably not the best choice, but I was literally like shivering. I'm not doing this in Vancouver. Absolutely not. Okay, I just heard a noise, but I think that's the boy. Mm-mm. It's the boy, I think. Anita's in Alicante, Spain. All right, Anita. Let's see. What other questions are they? 3-week European cruise. Your girl was in the streets. Our girl was in the streets. 3 weeks. I'm gonna say the most haters thing I got right now. Must be nice, Deron. Must be nice to take a 3-week European cruise. All right, I'm gonna turn the hater down. I'm gonna turn my hateration down and say it looked amazing. And I can't wait to see more of what you post from your experience. Child, Auntie Lou, I was hugging up on them kids. I love them so much. I love them kids so much. Which is why I didn't already watch Black Panther. Hugging, kiss. Literally, there's a photo of me. Let me see if I can find it. There's a photo of me last night, knocked out on the boy. I am laid up on him, unconscious. And their mom. This is me and the boy last night. Out. If they are sick, it's a good chance I'm sick. Look at this. He's got his arm around me like, I'm his girl. That's my boy. And the girl who had a fever last night is on the other side of me. They better not be sick. All right. Let's see. Auntie Trey Church just ended. All right. Tammy, how did you feel get comfortable on camera when you first started your YouTube channel? I didn't. Don't expect to be comfortable. Right? Okay, so some advice. I told you guys I was starting a new channel. I know I told my membership. I think I told the rest of you guys who was starting a new channel. I told you that in October, right after the summit. That was I made an announcement. I'm starting a new channel. It's gonna have some YouTube stuff, not a lot. Some YouTube stuff on it. If you want more YouTube stuff, you should be watching Stephanie Perry's channel, her new channel, Stephanie Perry Media, because she's going hard on YouTube over there. And the channel is coming. I even record some videos. I just got to get it up. These past few weeks have been a lot for me. So we're headed in the right direction. Before the end of the year, the new channel will be up. It's just not up yet. But I say that because this is something I remind myself, boop, 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 to talk about on my channel. It's something that I think generally we don't talk about enough. But it's bigger than how do you get comfortable on camera when you first start your YouTube channel. I want to talk a little bit bigger than that, Tammy. What I want to talk about is like releasing ourselves from the expectations that anything is going to be as good as you want it to be when you start your business. Whether that's creating content in YouTube, whether that is planning an online summit, whatever your thing is, release yourself from the outcome, right? Release yourself from the finished product. If you have to be comfortable on camera before you start regularly making YouTube videos, you're not never gonna make YouTube videos. Because the only way to get comfortable on camera is to do it over and over and over again. And if those videos aren't making if you're making those videos and not uploading them to your YouTube channel, you're going to get really burnt out and tired of making YouTube videos because they're not up, right? And so I would say put up the videos that are poorly edited. Put up the videos that the sound isn't good. Put up the videos that where you don't feel comfortable. Put up the videos where you're like, this could have been better if I put up the videos that you see other people and they're not as good, like their videos are better than yours. Put them up. Put them up. If you don't put them up, if you don't continue to make them, even though you're not comfortable any of those things, you're never gonna move ahead. Like, you have to keep doing it's just reps. Like, how do I got the real answer to how I got comfortable on camera was doing this a lot. Doing this a lot. Talking on camera a lot. Committing to going live every weekend makes you more comfortable on camera. And for me, the lives are a little easier because if I mess up, I'm not gonna edit this. This is it. This is what y'all get. If y'all don't want it, you know what to do. There's a little Xy box. Just X your way out of here. How do I get comfortable on camera? I show up on camera. How did I start writing better newsletters to my email subscribers? I wrote crappy ones in the beginning, and I kept writing, and I kept writing, and I kept writing. How did I get to be a better photo editor? I think I'm a good photo editor. I don't always edit my photos, but when I do, they're pretty good. Over and over and over again. But I didn't let having bad videos or bad emails or edited photos that aren't great stop me from actually doing the thing. Like, you gonna get this photo edited at my skill level today, right? My skill level today will not be my skill level next month, but you gonna get today's skill level. For the videos, you gonna get today's skill level. Today's skill level, today's tools. I'm probably never gonna give you fancy wancy editing on YouTube. Because y'all don't need fancy wancy editing, right? You want content, you want information. The people who are like, I will not watch the video had the information I needed, but it didn't have enough pizzazz. You're not my audience. Okay. Okay. Right? You just keep going. You just do it and put it out there and do it and put it out there, and eventually you're better. And that's for every part of running any kind of online business. You just decide that it's going to happen. And even if you're not comfortable on camera, you just do it and you do it again. And after a while, you realize it doesn't matter. But I was not comfortable on camera at first. And then the editing would take forever because I'm like, I don't like the way I said that. I need to figure out how to. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Also, when you first start the good thing about YouTube, I will say this: when you first start your YouTube channel, nobody's watching those videos. Nobody's watching those videos. So if they're terrible, it's fine. Nobody's watching them. When you get better, when you start doing more reps, you'll get more subscribers. People will start seeing your better videos. Nobody's seeing those first videos you do. If you start an email list, my worst emails that I sent to my audience were when I had like 20 or 50 subscribers. Now I have over 14,000. The emails are better. More people are seeing them. When I had under 100, I could write crappy emails. It's just a few people seeing them. It's fine. All right. Let's see. Aria leaves for Bangkok tomorrow. Hoping to spend 2023 in Asia if I can handle the humidity. My mom is in Bangkok right now, I think. I don't really know. I think she's in Bangkok. She's really enjoying it. She really enjoyed Chiang Mai. And she went to Chiang Rai. and she went whitewater rafting, all kinds of things that I didn't do while I was over there. She's having a great time, and enjoying Bangkok. So I hope you enjoy it too. 2023 in Asia, that sounds like a plan. All right, Wendy, you're planning to scout Mexico for a month in June for all the region cities I'll visit. I think there's 8. My trip back and forth to Dallas is 324. That is awesome. It's a good price. You're excited. You think Mexico City's for you. All right. I am going to say, Wendy, that if you're looking for a place to live, I think 8 cities in 1 month is too much. That's a lot of moving. It's a lot. Twice a week. Basically, you're moving to a new place twice every week. I think that might be, you might not have the experience you want to have. I don't know what, like if you're just like, I just want to party in these cities, I just want to go have fun and eat some food, great. No judgment, right? You still might be a little tired, but like no judgment on your plan. And this is still not a judgment thing. But if you're looking for places to live, I would cut that down to less than 4. You want to be in a city at least a week. Now, if you're in a city for a day and you're like, this is not for me, and I know it's not for me, move on. All right, move on. If you like, if you're not like, oh, I'm not sure, that's one thing. But if you're like, absolutely not, move on, right? Move on somewhere else. But if you're thinking that you want to find a place to live full time, and I think that's what you're saying here, I think 8 cities is too much for a month. You can do it, and you can completely ignore me. What do I know, right? Like maybe you are like, I only need 3 days, but I would give it, if I was thinking of moving somewhere, I'd probably give it 2 weeks, at least a week. All right. Let's see. Are we going deep today, huh? What is my purpose? My purpose is helping Black women live lives of ease. Like at its core, that's what it is. That's my purpose. I want Black women everywhere to be happy and successful and to live an easy life. That's it. And it's my purpose because life was not easy for a long time, right? Like going to work at places where I was underpaid and undervalued and overworked. That wasn't pleasant. I don't want that anymore. Right? And I don't want that for you if you have other options. And in my core, believe you have other options. Right? And so I want other options. And may not be better options, right? But underpaid, undervalued, and overworked is a terrible combination. I want more for all of you. If that's how you feel, I want to help you get to more. That's my purpose. All right. Valerie's been a fan. Hi, Valerie. Locating cozy says my plan is constantly evolving. One thing I know for sure is I have two more months left on my lease, and I gave notice 4 months ago. All right now. Yeah, your plan can constantly evolve. You're not locked in a box. Change what you got to change. Do what you got to do. I love it. I love it. Okay, so David's talking about saving for retirement, getting bored while saving for financial independence. I think we're just more on the path with the money in mind. That is a good place to be. You have a number. Most people do not have a number, so you have a number. That's a great place to be. I feel like a carrot keeps moving, even though we aren't on a big treadmill. I would ask, who's moving the carrot? right? If you're saving for anything, whether that's financial independence, whether that's to retire early, whether that's to open a chicken shack on a beach somewhere, whatever you're saving for, if the amount of money you need to have, you feel like you need to have keeps changing, who's changing it? Most likely it's you. Now, not saying that's wrong because life is changing, right? Life is changing. But is your plan, are you spending all of this time saving and changing the numbers and doing all these things out of fear? Because if you're acting out of fear, that's a really terrible place. It's a terrible way to feel, right? It's terrible when you're like, oh no, I can't, like this savings number isn't high enough because of inflation. And so we're going to be broke, right? Like, because it's, you're not coming to it with a place of like love or joy or like, yes, like I see this happening. I'm super excited. And this is a number. Like if you're coming to it from a place of lack, and a place of fear, the experience is going to be bad. You're whatever you're saving for, if it feels like fear is the motivator, and I'm not saying that's true for you, David, but it is true for a number of people, then yes, it's not going to feel good. That experience is going to be pretty crappy because there's never. The thing about America is that if this is where you are, we've all been trained our whole lives that there's no such thing as enough. There is never enough. Like, you could always have more. You could always have more. You should always have more. You should always be trying to have more. There's never enough. What is enough? What is enough? Get you some more, right? And so people pick numbers like, I want to save $400,000 and I'll take, 5 years off work. And then they're like, but what if I save $500,000? I really feel like the number should be 550, right? And then because there's no such thing as enough. And if they talk to their friends and their community, people will tell them, I don't know, what if this fear-based things happen? Like, what if that fear, like, what if you have a really hard time finding another job? Or what if, you can't get, and the what ifs are always like, this is why you should have more money. The what ifs aren't like, what if you go now? This is my role in the community is, well, what if you just did it today? Right? How much money do you have now? And what would like life look like now if you did it today? A lot of people in our lives will say, what if you just wait 20 years? Right? What if you just had more money? And I'm like, no, look, let's talk about how much money you have today. Let's talk about living the life you have today. Because what have we seen in this pandemic? A lot of people got a lot of money saved for the future and don't have a future. I was in Mexico. I'm always in Mexico. But when I was in Cabo, San Lucas, 2 weeks ago, we went to this Day of the Dead event. And this guy was kind of explaining things to the Americans and to the non-Mexicans in the audience. And one of the things he said that really stuck with us, the group we were with, is you don't have a ticket for tomorrow. He's like, none of us have a ticket for tomorrow. Like, so you're making these plans for something you don't even have access to. You don't have a ticket for tomorrow. And so a lot of us spend our whole lives putting off joy, right? We're spend our whole lives putting off joy, putting off experiences we want for tomorrow, and we don't have a ticket for tomorrow. I have a ticket for today, for this very moment. I might not have a ticket for hours from now, right? I have a ticket for today. Tomorrow, I might be here when she comes, I might not, right? And so, how can you live a life while being conscious that if there is a tomorrow, it'd be great to have plans for her, right? It'd be great to have some money for tomorrow. But so, not ignoring the future, but how can you be more focused on living a life that you love today instead of saying, I'll love my life tomorrow or next week or next year, right? Or 10 years from now? Whatever things you can change that will make you live your life, love your life today. And how can you stop moving the carrot? How can you stop moving the goal for yourself? What are the other things you can do? Right? Like, can you change where you plan to retire? Because that is the biggest, that's the biggest expense right there. If you plan on retiring in America versus planning on retiring in a lot of other countries, just some healthcare expenses themselves, right, can run you up um, in ways that they might not in other countries. It's it's just thinking about what you like. If there's an amount of money you have to, if you have some money saved today and you have a goal, how can you align those two things in a way that makes you happy, not in a way that makes you feel sad, right? Not in a it's not enough, but like, how can I make this enough? Right? That's always my goal. How can I make this enough? Oh, that's what the stock market is doing? That's what it's doing? All right, this is how much money I have. How can I make it enough for what I need right now? Because I'm not going to get another job. My goal in life is to only speak to people I want to speak to. I have built that life for myself. I can't go backwards. I cannot. The closest thing I have to a boss is Bethany Berry, the closest thing. And maybe my mama sometimes. Like, I can't go back to working for other people. To do to do what? To do even I'm gonna tell you, even some clients who don't know me show up in a way that I'm like, I don't think you're gonna be a good fit to be my client. Because y'all hear me talk all the time about how nothing's urgent, right? You hear me talk all the time about how like we don't things are going to happen, right? If you want a thing to happen, it's going to happen. But we're not stressing me out. And people who don't know me aren't like in the immediate, aren't here, right? They don't know how to move like that. I prefer clients who are like, yes, nothing's urgent. Everything will work out. I couldn't imagine having a boss again, being like, child, you see that woman at Twitter sleeping on the floor in a what does it say about the organization you work with and who you want to be in that organization? That you're willing to sleep in a sleeping bag on the floor and then post it on the internet, not in like a ain't this some terrible shit, but in like a I'm so proud of myself for being here and going through this to support the team. She don't work there no more. Like a week later, she was gone. I'm pretty sure she's one of the ones that's gone. Yeah, I saw that she was no longer there. You slept on a sleeping bag, in a sleeping bag on the floor, so that you could be around. Maybe she's not gone, but the product. I know that she was supporting Twitter Blue, which we know did not work out so well. I know that product. Is she gone? I feel like Esther's gone. Why do I know her name? Because I kept seeing that photo posted of her. I don't know if she might, maybe she's still there, but the product was gone. Yeah, she's still there. In a sleeping bag to make a product that lasted like 3 days before they had to cut it or like make those significant changes that that man needed. He was not sleeping. Like, you need to be there to support the team. He was not sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor in an office. What does that say for who you want to be? I tell people all the time, especially like young lawyers or like people who want to go to law school or some other thing. Like, if you tell me what you want to do, I'm going to ask you one question. Can you identify people who in this career you're thinking about have your dream job? Or maybe not your dream job, but a job you see as accessible. Like, yes, that could be my future. For a lot of lawyers, that's like partners at a law firm. Yeah, I see the partners at the law firm. That could be my future. The next question is, outside of like the law, outside of what they do with their work, do you want the life they live? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And I'm like, if this is what you aspire to, why do you think your life is going to be different? Why do you think your life, if everyone, if you can identify 5 people who have like the job you want, and you don't want the life any of those 5 people have, perhaps you're not setting yourself up for success. That's all I'm gonna say. Perhaps you are not setting yourself up for success by wanting something and thinking that when you get it, the surrounding things are going to be different for you. Oh, you think all those partners don't have happy marriages, but you're going to? You think? Okay, sure. It could happen, yes. But like you need to start planning for that now because they ain't manage it. Like this number of people didn't manage it. How are you going to? Right? Look at the life of the people who you who have the job that you want. Look at their lives. Do you want their lives? And if my life involves sleeping, so people always talk about breaking into tech, and as someone who worked in tech, I'm like, what is it that you really want? What is the thing that you really want when you say, I want to work in tech? Is it just money? Because there's a way to make money that won't have you sleeping in uh in a sleeping bag. My first when I worked at the tech company I worked at, a large one, um, the lawyers had an offsite before I even started work. It was like the weekend before. So they were like, come, it was the weekend before you start work, come to an offsite. We went to Santa Barbara, we're hanging out. Um, and this lawyer, they had some awards, very few, maybe like 3 or 4. One of them was a lawyer who wasn't only a few years ahead of me in practice. And when they explained why he was being given this award, part of the explanation included sleeping on the couch at the office to be there to support the clients. And in that moment, I was like, "Oh, I fucked up." You're awarding this man for sleeping on the couch and not going home for days at a time? I said, oh, this is still won't be me. I won't be doing that. But this is what's awarded here. This is what is recognized here as like, if you want to be seen as a good team member, you will ignore your family. You will sleep in the office on a couch and be here for days at a time in case anyone has a question. Which also, rant. We are mid rant here, y'all. Walk with me a bit. If I'm sleeping here, so if anyone has a question, they can ask me, am I being woken up every 30 minutes for the question? Am I getting a solid 8? Am I getting 4 hours of sleep? How much sleep am I getting if I cannot go home to sleep? If sleeping from the office in case anyone needs me is the approach, how much raggedy, right? And I don't know how I got here, but the point is like know what it is that you want and try to get a good idea of what it's going to look like when you get it. I sat there and you know when everyone's drunk the Kool-Aid and you just showed up like, oh, they're passing out Kool-Aid, but I missed it. That's what it was like that very first meeting. Everyone was like, yeah, we love such a great job. And I was there like, we're applauding this man for sleeping on the instead of being like, here's why you should find some balance. Baby, we're not curing cancer. We're not. We're making rich people richer, which is what most of us do. Most of us in our lives make rich people richer. I'm sleeping on the floor on a couch to make a rich man richer? Yeah. Okay, so the point was I can't work for other people because when my boss told me that they were not going home, so I shouldn't go home, I couldn't do that anymore. I could do that when I was younger. Not the not go home part, but the like ridiculous demands on your time. This all came from what's your purpose? My purpose is to never do that again. My purpose is to free y'all from sleeping on couches, to get work done, to overworking. Get that job some good boundaries, some good, strong boundaries. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I know a lot of things. I got a lot of random stuff up here. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I'm not wrong about food. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not wrong about food. Food is my special skill. You can disagree with me. You will be wrong. On the topic of food, I am not wrong. The best meal, because it is, hands down. Mm. Okay, let's see. So I'm basically trapped in a COVID-19 house. I don't know if it's COVID yet. We'll test a little later. But Shadi has a fever in the middle of the night after being hugged up on me. I don't know. Why do they do this? Like, why? 4 nephews under 12? Why lock them in a closet for like 2 weeks before I come? What's the big deal? And they traveled last week or week before too? For why? For why? All right. All right. Has my cost of living in Mexico City changed any lately? I mean, the basics, rent hasn't. I'm expecting to have an interesting conversation with my landlord next year because rents over the city have gone up tremendously. Like somewhere between being like, I don't know, like 30% higher to 300 times higher, depending on where it is. And I'm not playing those reindeer games with her. Lovely woman, like her a lot. Pero your expenses haven't changed. So my expenses will not be changing. Not significantly. I'll give you a couple extra bucks, right? But just because other rents have gone up doesn't mean I'm gonna pay more rent. What it might mean is I move out. I've said this a few times, and the other day, someone who I'm gonna leave unnamed started claiming things in my apartment. Oh, she's like, "Oh yeah, when you move out, I've got first dibs on this," and I'm like, "Could you just prayerfully hope that my rent does not go up?" Like that's I'm not moving out unless the rent goes up significantly. So could we start there instead of claiming the things that you're gonna get when the rent goes up? She who shall not be named, but you know who she is. Y'all already know who it is. You She was like, I mean, you said you claiming that. So yeah, so my cost of living, food has gone up, transportation's gone up a lot. It's funny, people who come to Mexico City from other places are like, oh my God, these Ubers are only like $5. I'm like, yes, but they're only supposed to be like $1, right? These Ubers were supposed to be like $1.50. So yes, it's only $5 now. But like 2, 3 years ago, they were like $1.50, $2. So seeing these, oh, it's only $5, it's only $8. I'm like, $8 to get across the city? I'm not going to Mars. I really will be like, I ordered an Uber. I scheduled an Uber to pick me up the other morning to take me to the airport. It's a 30-minute drive. But you know how scheduling in advance, they always cost more. I've now started to do it when I leave for the airport so I don't have the stress of like see an Uber approach and then cancel or that Uber is downstairs waiting for me when I want it to happen, right? And so I've decided that it's worth paying a little more to not have any stress when I'm headed to the airport. I'm pre-scheduling these Ubers now. And it was $10. And I was like, how dare they charge me all of this money? 10 whole dollars just to get to the airport? Who do they think they are? Pre-scheduled, so it'd probably be like 7:50 if I called morning of, but then I would be like, is it coming? Sometimes they can take some time to get to you depending on what time it is, depending on who's on the road, etc. So instead of being 7:50, which would still be high, I was like, it's $10 to get to the airport. Now I know compared to other places, but not a lot of money, but 3 years ago that would have been a $5 ride. So yes, cost of living is going up. A lot of people have come to Mexico. A lot of foreigners have come, and they are saying things like, "Oh, I mean, it's only a $5 ride. It's only $8 ride." And I'm like, "No, stop it. The bus is 10 cents. Stop it. Stop paying those rates." Um, so yeah, so all over Mexico City, people are seeing the influx of American and Canadian dollars, and they're adjusting accordingly. Also, we talked about this last week, but Adelia and I have both seen incidents of foreigners being charged more, like blatantly being charged more money. Like if there's no price on it and you tell me a price, if I don't think that's the price you're charging locals, I'm not going to pay it. Right? You chose to tell me a price, and I am choosing not to pay that price. Hold on, I'm being distracted by something. Hold on one second. I just realized that these are in here. And so I felt like we needed, we needed these. I think someone was Maleficent. Okay, so, um, yes, I just found something in here and put it on my head. Are these going to be straight? Oh, they move, that's why. Hold on. I'm fixing these. And by fixing, I mean touching stuff that's not mine. Okay. Yep, that's it. Anyway, that's not it. We've both seen incidents lately of Americans saying they went to some restaurant and were told they got the menu and there was a price on it. And then they were told when they went to pay, they were told, no, that's the local price. You have to pay the foreign price. Now, me, myself, I'm not playing that. I've also never experienced it. I've never been told that the price on the menu is not the price I have to pay. I need to pay some other price. But we're hearing that happening in bulk. Me, myself, am not doing that. I shan't be doing that. Shall not. But I think people are seeing like, oh, you're here with money, spend the money, right? So yes, the cost of living has increased significantly over the past few years. You gonna show me one price on the menu and think I'm gonna pay a different price? Call the police. Call them, because that's not happening. It's not happening. Absolutely not. What are we doing? I'm paying the price on the menu. Thank you. So that's a thing that's happening here. Pay a different price. What kind of shit is that? All right. I'm way late on comments. I'm gonna try to catch up right now. Did you have a room to yourself on that cruise? Must be nice. All right. Let's see. Ooh. Shauna's visiting friends in Corona, California. Shauna, I grew up in Riverside. I'm sorry you're in Corona. I'd be sorry if you were in Riverside. It's not the best place. All right, Tammy, you started already? Get on it. Keep doing it. All right, Valerie, you said something about a question that I passed. Let me go. Okay. You want to know more about Rwanda, Panama, and Costa Rica. Can you help me or guide me to the right person? I have a video on Panama on my channel. Bum, 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 bum. Give me a second. I'm gonna post a link to the Panama video. I don't have anything on Costa Rica, but Stephanie does. She's in Costa Rica right now, and she's interviewed other people who have been in Costa Rica. And I don't think I have anything specifically about Rwanda, and I don't know if I can't. Nothing's coming to mind that she has specifically about Rwanda either. That's all I got. Okay, yes. So I talked to Roxanne about Panama. I'll drop that in the chat. Check Stephanie's channel for stuff in check Stephanie's channel for about Costa Rica, and I don't know where to send you for Rwanda stuff. Someone does. Drop the name of the YouTuber that talks about Rwanda that you love. Now, here's the problem. That's all I can guide you to right now. What I'd recommend is figuring out what city you want to go to in those countries and joining Facebook groups related to them. That's the best way to get information and to get multiple viewpoints. That's what I'd be looking to do, is join Facebook groups. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. Doing Motherhood podcast wants to know about the membership. So the YouTube membership is not really help. It's more of a community, right? So often after I go live, I'll do a separate live for the YouTube membership. So it's a smaller community. We can get a little bit more into depth in things. If I have a guest, I try to get the guest in with the live. So if they have questions I didn't want to ask widely, they can ask them in a smaller space. I do some behind the scenes stuff, but I don't really provide coaching in those. Every once in a while, someone has a question, I'll answer a question, but it's not a coaching focused YouTube membership. It's more of a community. If you want coaching, I do one-on-one coaching and I do group coaching. The group coaching is mostly related to taking career breaks or moving abroad. Work focused, you could, depending on what question you want answered, we could probably work on that in a one-on-one session, but I don't have any like work or business building focused offerings at this time. I hope that answers your question. All right. Let's see. All right. Our good friend Krishan says consistency is key. YouTube used to scare her, and now she enjoys it. Same with podcasts. You get comfortable over time. But if you don't do it, you won't get comfortable. Like if you don't do it, if you're scared to put up the crappy videos, you're never going to put up the good videos. It just takes time. And like getting past, it's hard. It's hard to get past the idea that like you're going to be judged for what you put out there and someone's going to judge. I get comments all the time like, I don't like the way you did this in the video. In the free video that I put effort into and you did not, I don't give a damn. I literally do not care. Especially if you're not a subscriber, you're not in my audience, you're not a subscriber, you're a random on the internet telling me that my free content is not up to your standards. Eat a dick. Like what we go? Absolutely not. I don't care. I do not care. I do not care. Getting past the idea that people are going to judge you takes some time. I'm at the point now where I'm like, if I sit down and edit something, don't say shit to me. Right? Like if I give you something unedited and you're like, oh, girl, right? Okay. But video editing Creating content takes work, it takes heart, it takes energy. And for you to open your raggedy mouth, who's not creating anything, to criticize it, die slow. Um, but it takes a while. Like it takes getting a lot of content out there to realize that like the people who want your stuff. How you give it to them. The people who don't want your stuff will either click off or complain. And if they're complaining, they're not for you. I have never gotten a complaint besides like volume, right? Yeah, we talk about my mics, and that's how I get a portable mic. And what happened last week happened last week. If you're here, you know what I'm talking about. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not gonna talk about it again though. If yeah, the people who are subscribed are not complaining because the editing wasn't fast enough for them or something some you better take this free content and move around or get blocked. How you on the internet complaining about free? Um, Luxury Vagabond asks, how long did I have my channel before it was monetized? 3 years. Pero I was one of those people who did a video like every 3 months. I started on my trip around the world. So I started probably in like June or July 2018. And then I'd go to a new city and I'd create a new video, and there was no kind of like theme or anything to it. But when I sat down, I started talking more about career breaks, started talking, doing more like talking head video, and people tell me they hate talking head videos. You need to move around. You need to do, if I have to move around and create this highly stylized video, you're not going to get a video. So take this talking head, me talking to you on camera, right? And get this information, or it can be in the hundreds of hours of footage that I have that I don't actually use, but that you'll never actually see because I recorded it. But editing, child, and hiring an editor who'll edit your way, that's just not, it's not part of my ministry right now. So you don't get the video I give you. And if you don't like the way I give you my content, you have the absolute right to find somebody else to give you the content. Now, if you can't find the same content from somebody else, what you gonna do? What, you gonna keep complaining about the way I give it to you? Because you want the information, but you don't want it the way I'm giving it to you? I don't give a damn. Anyway, child, they really be out here like, I think you should. You're not even subscribed. Someone did that the other day. Someone said something, and I was like, oh, a man. A man showed up in my Instagram DMs and was like, hi, I sent you, I commented on a video with a question, but you haven't responded to it yet. And I was like, I've never seen this name before. So I go and I see, because you can see like the newer comments. The comment that he left, the question he left on, there was some labor he wanted me to do. Find something for him, tell him something that was, I'm sure, Googleable. I'm very, very sure it was a Googleable question. This is just another rant session, y'all. Sorry. But this is how people on the internet are. And you need to learn what you care about and what you don't care about. I'm going to show you how I don't care about this and why I don't care about this. He left a perfectly Googleable question on a video. 20 minutes later, he was in IG talking about, I left you a comment, you didn't respond. That man expected free turnaround service in 20 minutes. I go and I look at the comment and I see it. I got you, buddy. I got you. I go back to him and I was like, oh, are you a subscriber? I have my comments set up, so I only see them from subscribers. That's not true. I see subscriber comments first, but I see everybody's comments, but I see subscribers first. So you are not even subscribed to me on YouTube. You do not follow me on IG, because I can see that too, because IG will tell you when you pull up a new conversation whether this person follows you. You don't follow me on Instagram. You are not subscribed to me on YouTube. But you want a 20-minute turnaround on your comment, on your question, which was fully Googleable. That's where our conversation ended. I was like, "Oh, I only see comments from subscribers." I think he said, I'll go subscribe right now," or something like that. And I was like, "It don't matter. I'm never gonna respond to that. I'm never I promise you I'm not your slave. I promise you, I'm not your slave. You hit me up on a different platform 20 minutes later to tell me that I haven't responded to your question yet. You don't follow me or subscribe to me on any of the platforms, and you think you get people online want what they want. You're never gonna make them all happy. Your content is never going to be good enough for people who don't want your content. People who want the answers but are not invested in the relationship or the community, it's never gonna be good enough for them. The man was like, "It's been 20 minutes. Where's my answer?" It's legit like, who the F are you? Like, what's happening here? And that's just like you have to decide what parts of the business you're willing to invest in and what parts of the business you're willing to let go. For me, when I said, "Oh, I only see subscriber comments," I knew that was the last thing I was ever gonna say to that man. Because I'm telling you, I'm letting you know how incredibly rude it is to show up here on another platform 20 minutes later looking for a response. You don't even have the decency to be you're not even part of the community. You're not part of the community, but you're expecting a service level that I've never agreed to. We do not have a service level agreement. There's no SLA signed. You are a rando on YouTube expecting me to do your work for you, which you could have just Googled. You have to decide when you start creating content online, whatever it is you're doing, what you care about and what you care about and what you don't care about. I care about creating content for my audience that is educational. I care more about education than I do about entertainment. I know I'm entertaining. Y'all ain't got to tell me, but you can. But I don't really like anything else. The razzle dazzle, I do not care. The like answering Googleable questions in the comments, I don't like here. Yes, I say ask me anything. I mean, ask me anything. You are part of the community. You're watching me live. A random showing up on a video from months ago, asking me a question they could Google. Now I have to give them an. No, I don't care about that. I have to let it go because I can't be invested in everything. This is my advice for you today. You can't, if you're running a business that has online aspects, if it has in-person aspects, any aspects, if you make money from a skill or talent of yours, you can't be invested in everything. You can't be invested in what everything looks like at the end result, and you can't be invested in making everyone happy. I do not care about making everyone happy. I do not try to make everyone happy. I try to make myself happy. If you're unhappy, okay. If you've paid and you're unhappy, let's talk about it. If you have not paid and you're unhappy, go straight to hell. Or like just don't like you don't have it's fair to watch a video and be like, I didn't like that. You ain't got to tell me though. Right? You could just clickety clock. You give it a thumbs down. I don't care. But to feel like you need to tell me what I should be doing different to make you happy when you're not even part of the community? Who are you? Where you come from? Where your mama at? Where's your daddy? They didn't teach you nothing? Your grandmama didn't tell you to mind your damn business? Why? I need to get over the need to edit. Yes. Yes. You do. You just got to get stuff out there. Are you thinking about documenting her travels? I think you should. Start on IG. Listen, The first 20 YouTube videos you make, I'm gonna say 20. First 20 are gonna be like, you look back at them 2 years from now, like, oh girl, I did that. Go to any like big YouTuber. If they haven't removed their initial videos, when you go back to their first videos, the quality, garbage. The content, garbage. It's okay. They're still like have millions of subscribers now, right? Because they didn't stop. They didn't let garbage stop them. They kept going. Just put it out there. Somebody's gonna watch it. All right. Is there a specific moment where you decided enough and decided to leave the US? Uh, when I got laid off from the tech company, we went out of business. I knew I didn't want to get another job because I was applying for jobs and they'd call me in for interviews and I'd be like, I don't want to work with you. Why are you in my face asking me all these damn questions? Like, I want to work with you. And I'm like, you're in an interview. I did not have the right attitude to interview. I was like, why? Why do you have the audacity to ask me questions in this interview? Who do you think you are? And I'm like, this is not, perhaps you should chill. And so I decided to take a year to travel the world. I was about a little more than halfway through the year, I was in Mexico City and I was with one of my best friends and I was like, why don't I live here? I love the city so much. I was like, why don't I live here? And she was like, why don't you? Why don't you live here? And I was like, wait. This is late December 2018. She's like, why don't you live here? And I was like, I can just decide to live wherever I want. Yeah, I can. And so I lived. So it was never like, I was never in the US and was like, I need to get out. Although I was back in the US for a year after I had knee surgery and during COVID. And at that point, living in Florida in 2020, I was like, I need to leave here. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here. But I'm not from Florida. There's a lot of reasons it wasn't working for me, mostly a lot of like anger in the streets. Why y'all so bitter? In Mexico, we're not so bitter. And if someone's cussing me out in Mexico, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. Now, there are downsides. I was supposed to get a Home Depot delivery on Thursday. They emailed me and told me it was on the road. Next thing I heard from them was Friday evening, and they were like, you need to be home all day Saturday to accept it because we could not reach you at 6 p.m. today. They emailed me at 9 a.m. on Thursday and said it was on its way. They reached back out to me at 6 p.m. on Friday and put it on me that I wasn't available at 6 p.m. on Friday. So I need to be available all day on Saturday. I was like, well, I'm on a plane. So you can deliver it when I get back, or you can cancel the order and run me my money back. They're delivering it when I come back. But it's like that, like, you know what I mean? Like things that are very like, I feel like in America, someone would have gone down to the store and been like, where is my order? I was like, it didn't come when it was supposed to come. I'll see what I hear from them next. I'm not tracking them down. I'm not doing nothing. My order did not come. If I have to, when I get back from Canada, if I got to go cuss somebody out, I'll do that. But like, is the delivery on Thursday? Is it on Saturday? No one seems to care. What I know is you're going to deliver it when I told you to, or is it not being delivered because I'm not home. But like that kind of stuff. So like living in Mexico has some challenges. The definition of time is one of those challenges, right? It's one of those things. But I still love it. It's still the place on earth that is meant for me right now. And so I stay. Okay. If you only had your legal skills, my law license, in what area could you practice so you'd still live in Mexico? That's a good question because I've never considered it because I never wanted to rely on my law license when I moved abroad. So I've really never considered it. I think it would have to be something federal, right? I think. I have a specific expertise that requires me, I don't need to be in any specific state. I could do it out of the country, but I would have to do it out of the country in-house. Or I was in-house for years, a decade, maybe a decade, I don't know. And so that's what would in-house, talking to people every day? No. So yeah, I don't know. I don't, if the question is where, there's two ways to interpret this question. What US practice areas could you do from Mexico, or could you practice in Mexican law in Mexico? That second one, probably a no. I was on an LLM, and I don't even know what that's going to get you here. And the first one, I know that there are a number of lawyers, American lawyers in the country, some of who still work. I know some are in-house, and some are at law firms, but I don't necessarily always know what practice area they're in. I think I would look at this as the practice area I want to be in and seeing how to finesse it. I would look at it the other way around. Like, what can you do, and how can you figure out how to do what you do from somewhere else, even if that means like living in Mexico, but like close to the border, so you can come to San Diego or somewhere in Texas all the time. Not ideal for me, but it's possible. People live in San Diego or live in Tijuana and cross that bridge into San Diego every day for work. Right? What can you do, and how can you finesse it? All right, let's see. All right, Danielle. This community has been so impactful for me. I took a 1-month sabbatical last year, and I have a new perspective on how my current work fits into my life, purposes, free time, location, etc. Yes. Freedom. Freedom. Time, location, time freedom, location freedom. Yes, Danielle. I love it. I'm very happy for you. All right. Traveling with Diaspora says, I think you changed your name recently, or since the last time I noticed. I'm down to 6 months. I already booked Playa del Carmen and CDMX for a month each. I'm excited, but starting to face the reality of leaving my comfort zone is making me a little anxious. Yeah. Nothing I can tell you is gonna like make the anxiety go away. You're gonna be anxious until like you do it, right? So people ask, like before vacation, people say like, "Are you excited?" And I'm like, "No." Until I'm actually on the plane, there's like all these little anxieties. Will I forget something that I'm packing? But like once I'm on the plane, none of those things matter anymore. I'm on the plane. I'm going somewhere. If I forgot something, I have to either replace it when I get there or live without it. Right? One of my biggest pre-flight anxieties is, will I wake up in time, or will I miss my alarm? I missed my alarm once. Coming to Thanksgiving. Never again. I'm waking up every 2 hours. Like, what time is it? What's going on? Is that the sun? What's happening? What's going on? Anxiety. And then do I know how to come to Vancouver? Actually, that was Riverside, the time I missed a flight. Anyhow, yesterday, do I know how to come to Vancouver? Yes. Is there still anxiety around it? Yes. Until I get here and I'm like, oh, y'all got the diseases? Okay, I'll be in the basement. They're cooking breakfast. I smell breakfast. Yeah, you're gonna have anxiety until you're there, and you're gonna be like, oh, this is it. Like, especially if whether Playa or Mexico City are like a place for you, when you get there, you're gonna be like, oh no, this is magical. This is magical. All right. Yes, extend your scouting trip, Wendy. That's a good idea. A lot of noise happening. They down in the basement with their diseases. Can you hear me? They're down in the basement. Um, let me see if I can find out if the girl child is alive. She is. Can you imagine if I don't get to go to Wakanda today? Cause she all. All right. Danielle says, I booked 3 trips for 2023. I'm choosing to live a life of freedom and continue to create even more freedom for myself. I'm no longer putting off my joy. Yes. We don't have a ticket for tomorrow. Get that joy today. Get that joy today. You don't have a ticket for tomorrow. We know about today. We know about right now. We don't even know about an hour from now. We know about right now. I'm going to get me some joy and maybe some waffles. Definitely some eggs and bacon. It is. Come through every Sunday morning. All right. Mm-mm. 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 All right, let's see. Okay, we're negative for COVID, and she's okay. But I guess we're not going to soccer. We would have left 30 minutes ago. My mission is to enjoy my life. Like, it's work. It's people, I feel like in a lot of workplaces, they talk about your coworkers being family, or they talk about the mission of the organization to guilt you into giving more than you're getting. This ain't my family. My family's at home, right? When I lived in Ohio, my family that was at home was a dog. But if I don't get to go home on time to feed and walk the dog, who's going to do that? My family here isn't laying on the floor next to the sofa when I'm there, right? My work family isn't doing that. My dog family has a role. My work family has a role. Y'all ain't more important. Y'all not going, oh, we're a family. Oh, it's mission, me to death. It's a paycheck. It's a paycheck. We have to have boundaries. What? We're on a mission. Yes, between 9 and 5, maybe 6 if I feel like it. Leave me alone. Mm-mm. I'm being offered food. Okay, so she's sick, but it's not COVID. We'll see what happens. All right. Tammy. Okay, so Tammy left my social worker job 2 months ago after the initial panic attack of leaving a guaranteed paycheck. Yes. I remind myself that pushing 20-hour days was not benefiting my children. 20-hour days? Because also, like, if you're working 20-hour days, or like having to be awake 20 hours a day, just having to be awake 20 hours a day, how are you showing up for your children? And is it more important that you individually, I know that, like, right, social work is important. I'm not saying it's not. But is it that you need to be the one to sacrifice your health and your family for the social work job? Or do they need to find a way to hire more people? Right? A lot of times we talk about, like, oh, the company needs this. Do they need it from you? Right? The nonprofit they need me. Do they need you to? Or are they not giving you and the team enough resources? And would a good resource be another human? Possibly, right? Like if you are giving to other people more than you're giving to your children, how are they going to remember these years in the future? Right? Are they going to warmly remember how you were not there for them because you were at work? Probably not. Those memories probably aren't going to be like, Mom was the best social worker ever, and I love that. Mom was just she was so amazing at her job. She really gave it all. No. They're gonna be like, where was she? She was always working. How many of us have moms? Okay, this is another thing. I don't think she's watching right now, so I can say this. I have a mom, but my memory was like she's always working. She's always working. And now she felt like she had to always work. That's part of there never being enough, right? She had to always work. She was always, and I'm not saying she didn't have to. I'm saying that's my memory of her. She was always working. Well, that meant like when I needed her, she was working. I know a lot of us had that too, and I don't want that for you. I don't want your children to have that memory of you. So quit that job. I don't know what job we're talking about. Just whatever job it is, quit it. Tell them tomorrow. You don't even like them. Give them 2 days notice. Walk out. Stop quiet quitting and start loudly quitting. Could we? Stop quiet quitting. Start loudly quitting. Start saying, I won't be here. I'm tired of your shit. Because these places aren't understanding boundaries. They're not understanding boundaries. Mm-mm. 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 All right. I'm behind in the chat. Okay, Danielle, this is another question that we just don't have enough information for. So what type of life could you live with $20 an hour? My question for you would be, how many hours are you working, right, in a week? What kind of life do you want, and where do you want to build that life? $20 an hour is not a lot in the US. It's a lot more than minimum wage, right? But it's not a lot of money. But there are a number of countries around the world where it is a lot. So I would say, I think this is another one where I start with, what kind of life do you want, and how can you create it on $20 an hour? To start backwards, what kind of life do you want? What do you want your life to look like? Like, write down the things that you want in your life. How many hours a week do you want to work, right? What kind of housing do you want to be in? How do you want to feel when you wake up? What do you want to surround yourself with? Where in the world do you want to be? And then see whether that's doable on $20 an hour. If you want to live in the Versace mansion in Miami, it's probably not doable on $20 an hour, right? But if that's not what you want, right? If that's not what you want, what does it look like that you want? And if it's not doable on 20, is it doable on 22? That's another thing people don't do enough of. They don't do the math, right? Figure out what you want and how much that costs. And then do the math to figure out what you need to get it, what you need to do to get that. Oh, Krishan. Chad, I was not expecting this. I'm so sorry for your loss. Woo. That's a lot. 64. I'm so sorry to hear, Ms. Krishan. That's terrible. Oh. We interviewed Halana about Rwanda on the Exodus Summit channel. I forgot about that. That was maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember. So whoever questioned that was, there's information on the Exodus Summit channel as well. All right, let me see. Yes. Book coaching with me at RoshidaDowe.com. It's more of this, but like in depth about you. We'll make it about you. RoshidaDowe.com. Girl, what do I be doing on here for 2 hours? Just rambling about nothingness. And people get mad. If I like just ask me anything, it won't get a lot of replays because people want to be live for and ask me anything. They don't want to watch it on the replay. Generally, like my community will watch it, but random strangers on the internet won't watch it. But people literally will be like, we'll see like a 2.5-hour video that answers one, like the description and the title will tell you I'm answering one question. And then they'll be like, I cannot believe you took so long to get to the answer. And I'm like, it was a 2.5-hour video that answered one question. You didn't think there was going to be some ramblings in there? You didn't think so? That's on you for not thinking through what you were getting. You waited, so you talked. Yes. I'm on here rambling every Sunday morning. And the ones that are with me like it. And the ones that aren't, I don't know, because I don't care. Right? Ramble. Roxanne, ramble. Folks, especially about Panama, folks want the content, Roxanne. Get on the internet and tell them about your day, what you do, where you eat. They want that. And then ramble. If someone is watching if someone comes into a 2-hour video thinking that every minute is going to be educational, informational, that's on you. If you think I'm teaching for 2 hours on a free video on the internet, Adelia and I taught for 2.5 hours the other day in the Getting Residency in Mexico workshop, which I will, Stephanie, if she's still here, we'll drop a link to, please and thank you. It's at exodussummit.com/Mexico. You can still get a replay. But yes, in a paid environment, I'm giving you fact after fact after fact. Sunday morning for the free, you getting whatever comes in my head. It's going to be a ramble. And people are still watching. People will watch it. And give it a thumbs up. If you're watching right now, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, please. Thanks, friends. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. But if you're here, you're probably subscribed. But yeah, your people do not care if you ramble. They want that information. They do. Roxanne, people have so many questions. They keep coming back to that old video asking questions. They want Panama content. Give it to them. Unless that's not what you want to do. If you want to talk about other stuff and not Panama, I totally understand. I shouldn't have locked you into a Panama box real quick. But people want it, right? Give them what they want. And the people who don't want it won't watch it. It's fine. All right. The people who make comments like this are not your people. And I'm not worried about people who aren't my people. I'm not worried about what they want. The video's too long. If you don't press speed at 1.5 or 2 and get to the information you want and get out, or if you don't press the little clickety X box at the top and go watch something else, if you felt the need, okay, so if you say something like this video is too long, make it shorter. I know you're a hater and your life is that empathetic because all you had to do is fast forward to find the information you want or press the X without saying anything. But you felt the need to say something hateful and negative because you're a hateful, negative person. That's not on me. That's not about me. That's not about the content of my video or the quality of my video. That's about your sad little life. This video is too long. Make it shorter. Get a hobby that's not harassing people online. If his free video isn't good enough for you, pay someone to give you the information you want. Sad, like your life is sad. I'd literally be like, it's sad over there, isn't it? It's sad over there, isn't it? I'm sorry for you. They really be mad. People will really be mad that you're not giving them exactly how they want you to create content the way they want their content, and everybody wants something different, so you would have to create something different for everybody. Someone's going to be mad about everything you do. You have to choose not to care. It's fine. All right. Question. I turn 38 next month with zero savings. Remote work searching now. In year 5, healing my mental health. Just started meditation. Did you have any healing physically or mentally after you left the US? So after I left the US was the pandemic, right? It's part of it. I think that that is something I'm still healing from and I'll be healing from for a long time. But I would say physically, leaving work, right? When I first started traveling around the world, physically, I didn't realize how much stress I know that I hold tension in my body. I'm one of those people that like I keep it all inside. And it comes out in certain ways. But feeling that release was wild when I was like, oh, like this is what happens when I'm not stressed out. Like I don't feel like so yes, there was physical healing that happened, but I don't know if it's because I left the US or because I left work. I would probably say both. Mentally, had a hard time keeping a consistent therapist because they don't if they're licensed in the US, they don't like it when you're not in the US, specifically in the state that they're licensed to practice in. So that's been challenging. I'd like to find therapists that work with clients abroad. I'd like to find Black female therapists who work with clients abroad. But I will tell you about therapy. The therapist that changed my life the most was an older Eastern European therapist because she communicated things to me that 4 years ago, I don't think a Black female therapist would have communicated to me. And the main thing was, why are you working so hard for people who don't who don't appreciate it? Right? Because like we talk about this a lot, like deeply ingrained in the Black community is you have to work twice as hard, leaving off the second part of that, which is for half as much, right? You have to work twice as hard for half as much. And that's just the expectation. You're just going to work twice as hard. You just have to work twice as hard. You just have to work twice as hard. My therapist was like, those people sound terrible. What if you gave them the absolute minimum? She's like, can you figure out what the, like, if you give them nothing, if you pay them dust, will they fire you? And I was like, no, they can't. They need, like, my dust is more valuable than anything they have right now because we're going out of business. They needed me for some like wrapping down, like winding down stuff. She was like, give them the least, figure out what that is. And I was like, I have never heard a Black, no matter how bad work was, I've never had a Black female therapist who said, what if you just stopped working so hard? Like, it seems so simple. But the answer for me was instead of killing yourself to prove to these people that you have value, what if you just accept that they're never going to acknowledge that? What if you just right now accept that there's nothing you can do that will make them consistently, not just these one off, like, oh, thank you so much, I needed this, right? But like consistently treat you like you should be treated. What if you just said, okay, and because of that, I'm not going to fight to work harder to give you more that you're also not going to acknowledge. I'll just give you less. Like if you're going to treat me, if you're going to act like my contributions don't count, I'm going to give you some no count ass contributions. I'm gonna give you the, and I was like, she was like, yes. She's, I would say she's a non-traditional therapist because she, instead of being like, how do you feel about this? She was like, what if you just stop bullshitting? I'd be like, what? She would be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? What's happening? Why do you feel like you need to overwork when these people are like not acknowledging the regular work? Why are you working harder? Why do you think working harder is going to change the outcome? What if you just worked less? And that truly changed my life. That last 6 months at work was really hard for me because people, as we were wrapping things up, people were being asked to do things they didn't know how to do. And so there was a lot of like, they say like, if you're drowning, you can like relax and let someone else like get you out of the water, or you can like keep flailing and maybe drown the person who's trying to help you too. There was a lot of people trying to drown me because they didn't know what they were doing. So like being being super rude, um, terrible coworkers, terrible teammates. Like I this is my task, but I don't know how to do it. And I know you do, Roshida. So why don't you do it? And me just even before she said that, me being like, no, no, it was assigned to you. I won't be doing it. And then being shocked that I wouldn't do their work for them. You see this boundary? But yeah, after talking to her, literally the best therapist for me ever but she was like, I don't work, this is 2018. I don't work remotely. Like once you can't come to my office, bye. She was like, hey, we're done if you can't come into my office. Now I hope she has remote clients. She was an excellent therapist. But truly, she would tell me her strong opinions, and they were always like, literally one day she was like, they sound terrible. And I'm like, I don't think therapists are supposed to say stuff like that. But she was like, they sound like terrible people. What if you just did less? Instead of trying to do all this stuff, what if you just gave them less? Like right before they fire you. That's my version of quiet quitting. Not the like, I'm just going to do what's in my job description. My version of quiet quitting is do so much less that they might have to fire you. So much less. Do so much less that they might have to fire you. You don't want to be there anyway. Get some unemployment. Yeah, she was like, what if you and I was like, doing less. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. All right, I'm way back. I'm way, way, way back. All right. A year from now, Elisa's gonna look at the videos, her first videos, and be like, no, this is tragic. Leave them up. Let people coming behind you know. No one here started out the box perfect. Anything you do, you have to learn how to do it. Let the evidence remain there and let the people see. All right. I don't know how we got to talk about Orange Julius in the comments, but I'm here for it. Woo! All right. Okay. Let's see. I am. Let's see. So coming into immigration yesterday, I got selected for a secondary screening for a good reason. I brought in avocados from Mexico, and I declared them, and so they were like, "You have food in your bag, girl? Go to that line." Anyway, I got secondary screening. I think we're just gonna talk about the avocados, which you can bring into Canada. You can bring Mexican avocados into Canada, no problem. They didn't even look at them. They were like, "You're coming from Mexico? Avocados are fine. Don't worry about it." But she was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "As little as possible." And the way the immigration lady looked at me like, "That is not an answer." Right? She looked at me like, I forgot. So I'm so used to being like, whatever I want, right? I'm so used to giving kind of like a non-answer answer to that because what I do does not determine who I am. That I forgot that like at immigration, a non-answer answer will have your ass deported. So she looked at me and I was like, oh, my bad. Let me give you a legitimate answer now because she was like, that's not, I said, oh, yes, I forgot. I can't just give you the answer if it is like mind your business, because everything we're talking about is your business. My whole life is your business because I'm trying to get into your country. But at first I was like, we're talking about avocados. Why do you, girl, whatever I want? What do you? And then I was like, well, that could mean I'm some kind of like avocado smuggler. Let's make this easy. Let me give you, in order to get out of here as quickly as possible, let me give you the answers in the way you want to hear them. All right. Auntie Trey says staying in joy is a daily battle. It is. That's important. Mm-mm. All right, let's see. Questions. You don't even like that job. Go get fired. Go get fired. Quiet quit all the way to getting fired. You don't even like that job. You don't talk to them people. You don't like that job. Let me help you. This is presented without comment. Carla. Two things. I know this is supposed to be happened. Two things happened after Exodus Summit. I asked for more money. One, we get more money. Two, I realized that whether they give it to me or not, I'm still out in 2023. Get that money and go. Get that money and go. Yes, I love that for you. We're making decisions that are important, that we're making decisions that align with the life we want, not align with the life we get. They're aligned with the life we want, not aligned with the life we get. Right? If you want to be in that job, it doesn't matter if I give you more money or not. Leave that job. Tell the people you're out. You're out. Okay. Let me see. If you want to move to Mexico, someone said the workshop was the best money they spent all year. We be doing it. You don't have to love us, but our content is good. Our content is good. You're not gonna get a whole lot of razzle dazzle, but baby, the content is good. Getting residency in Mexico. If you want to get residency in Mexico, there you go. All right. All right. Roxanne has committed to rambling. Ramble, baby. Because I can't talk about Panama, although I need to come see you in Panama because I didn't see you in Mexico City. I'm getting my life together. How do you decide what day/days work best for your community? Okay, so great question. YouTube will tell you when you have enough videos up when your community is active. It's kind of important. It's kind of not. I needed a time where I could consistently be available, right? Because if you show up randomly, you're not likely to have as much of an audience as if you show up at the same time. I've been doing this very same time for maybe a year and a half. People know what to expect me here. I also need to make sure that I'm not rambling on the internet at a time that splits my community. So those are really my only 2 things. Like, can I be consistent at that time? And is there something that is going to split my community? Like, I couldn't go live when Stephanie or Delia went live. I do coaching once a month with a small group of people at the same time that Stephanie goes live, and they really will be like, "Why would you do this?" And it's not even it's once every other month. So 6 times a year, I go live while Stephanie is live. And they really will be like, "Why don't you plan better than this?" I'm like, "You have to miss her live. If you're with me for a year, you have to miss her 6 times. Out of 52. I promise you're gonna be okay." They're really like, "Not okay. We're here, but it's not okay that you made us choose." I'm like, "I wanna be watching her too, but, like, the way the week works out, like, we have to do this on the weekend. It's a Saturday morning. Apologies." Um, but yeah, they're not big fans of that. So yeah, those are the only 2 things I really consider. Is there any reason that I couldn't be consistent at a specific time? Is my audience around? Like, if they're all at work, it's probably not a great time. So for me, it would be evenings or weekends. Evenings or weekends is what I would plan for. Is there anyone else that my community is really into that is already active at this time, and it would mean splitting my audience? And can I be consistent at that time? That's what I'd consider. Oh, compliments. It was long. Roxanne was my long at until that point, I think Roxanne was my longest interview. I might have had a longer one after her, but that one of Roxanne, I was like, "Are we just talking for 3 hours? Okay." Alright. Strong says, "If I attended the Exodus Summit, do I get a discounted coaching session? Also, my timeline is to be out of the US by March, working remotely, and you being my coach." Thank you, and no. If you attended Exodus Summit, you get a discount off of my group coaching program, but my one-on-one coaching is not discounted. You can find it at RoshidaDowe.com, though, if you want to sign up for it. Prices are going up at the end of the year for one-on-one coaching. 2023 pricing is not the 2022 pricing. All right. Yes. So you get a discount off of the group coaching. $100. That all access pass, huge. There was so much value in it. So much value in it. Paula Brown, good morning. I posted on a site the other day and received my first rude conversation with a hater. How do you deal with this emotionally? I can't say it doesn't matter. I can say it doesn't matter, but I felt it in my heart. I am one of those people too. Stephanie's much better at being like, we don't know people, like whatever. I'm the kind of person that was more likely to take it personally. I think there are a couple things you have to do. I think you see it, especially if it's a conversation, like a back and forth. I tend to disengage because I'm not arguing with people on the internet. I don't argue with people if I'm not invested in their opinion. Like, you're a stranger. If you think the earth is flat, it don't matter to me. You're not driving my boat anywhere, right? You're not flying me on a plane. If you think the earth is flat, I'm not about to argue with you because I don't care what you think. And what you think does not matter to me at all. And what you think about this subject really doesn't matter to me. So, like, if it was like, I would argue with my best friend about something. I argue with these kids here about things all the time. Mostly it's things I've made up. I make up fact. One of my things I do is I make up facts and I do my best to try to convince them it's true. That's my special skill set. That's me as an auntie. I make up stuff. I'd be like, "You didn't know? You did not know? Bears poop whole salmon. Like, how did you not know this? Let's talk. Listen, I make up stuff all the time, but no. But other people, and they argue with me because they think I'm wrong. Um, Randoms on the internet, I don't care about generally. Now, if for some reason I end up accidentally arguing with someone, I think I have to step back and see where my ego is playing a role. Like, am I invested in this because I want to be seen as right? I want to be right. I want to be experienced as being right. I read a book, I think it was about marriages or relationships. And I think the name was something along the lines of, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? That could have not been the name at all, but that was the general thesis of the book. You can be right or you can be happy, right? Arguing with someone on the internet is not going to make you happy. It's going to make some people happy, but it doesn't sound like it's making you happy, Paula, right? And so for me, I would rather be happy than right. And so I'm not about to continue an argument with someone, right? I'm going to tell you how I feel. And then I've clocked out of you as a me personally. Here's the thing to know about Roshida. If you riled me up so much that I need to argue with you on the internet, once I clock out of a conversation, I've clocked out of you as a human. You no longer exist to me. Who? I don't know that person. I don't know that person. Who? No, I don't. It's not a great trait, but it's who I am. But yeah, emotionally, I ask myself how much of that is ego? How much of what is going, like, can I step back and say, this person has a different opinion, but it doesn't matter because I don't care about them. I do not care about this person. So it doesn't matter. And if it does, how can you enter it with more love? If it's someone you do care about, how can you enter this interaction with more love and less ego? Right? There are going to be things you're absolutely correct about that you'll never convince another person. And we have to let that go. We have to let the idea go that you have to change someone's mind or like argue with them because you're right. I said what I said. I said what I said. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. People be in the comments of my YouTube videos, not all the time, like, I disagree. Go make a video that I won't watch. I don't care. I literally every day almost wrote, I do not care what you think. Then I was like, there's no need. There's no need to say this, but I don't care what you think. I'm letting you know that I don't agree with you. Is 8 billion people on the planet? Why do you think I care what you think? So don't get caught up in internet arguments, but also let it go. It's hard. Like, I'm the kind of person that will be like, who the fuck who do you think you're talking to? Like that. Who do you think? But they don't care. Some people are on the internet just to argue. Honestly, it's why Exodus Summit is only a group for only women. So we don't have men showing up to a live stream asking questions like, what are your thoughts on Kevin Samuels? I don't think of the dead. I blocked him after that one. He's not blocked. But it's also so women who want to be in argumentative groups are less likely to be an Exodus Summit. Because that's just not what we foster. We don't foster that. And the first step of not fostering it was not having men in there. Choose where you spend your energy. Exodus Summit, the Facebook group is the best place. It's the best Facebook group on the internet. Facebook.com/groups/Exodus Summit. The best group on the internet. Every once in a while, people will disagree. Arguing? It's rare that I see arguing. For why? For why? No one's like, I cannot believe you're going to go to Mozambique. Why would you ever do that? What you see in some of the other groups. because we just want each other to win. And we know that my definition of winning and your definition of winning don't have to be the same for us both to win. Let them people argue with themselves. Move on. All right. Adelia is my black female therapist. I hope you pay her, girl. But knowing Adelia, you're not. I, as as Adelia's legal representative, I shall be sending you a contract and a invoice for my work and for hers. You gonna get it in the mail? I'll bring it down to you. I'll bring it down to you in Panama. All right. Let's see. When your therapist is like, girl, I be seeing these employees come through from your job. There's no upside. You should quit. It's time to quit. It's time to like when your therapist says that place is not mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It's time to quit. Now, Elle, know you know you should listen to her. Whew. Brooklyn Queen, off the top of my head, I can't think of a boutique hotel in Condesa. I know there's maybe Condesa DF, but I've never stayed there, so I can't really recommend one. That's the problem with living somewhere. Like, I don't stay in these hotels. So I don't know what the hotel experience is. But I think Condesa DF is one that people really like. All right. Yes, I could tell immigration that I was retired, but they might ask too many questions, right? Like, because they want to know that you have a source of a lot of times at immigration, even I've even had this coming into the US, and I'm like, mind your own business. Look at this blue passport and mind your damn business. You just because you broke, don't mean we all broke. I didn't say that, of course, because immigration, but very much like, how can you afford? Are you asking other people how they can afford to travel? Or you just don't think I should be able to? You asking all these other people how they can afford? Mr. Immigration Officer, Mr. at the American board, you're asking, I'm coming into America. I have a passport. I have citizenship. I'm allowed to come in. And your question to me is how I can afford. You asking everybody that? Anyway, the question, a lot of times that question is about um, what you're doing for money and are you doing anything illegal that would make them want to search your bags, right? So I could tell them I'm retired, but based on their expectations of what a retired person looks like and what I look like, that might create further conversations, right? It might be a little bit more of like, well, then what are you doing for money? There's probably coke in your bag, right? It's not avocados, it's meth, right? So I was like, let me give her the answer she wants. I run a business that blah blah blah. Because yeah, I get it. It's a question that makes sense, but it is a question that comes with certain biases, right? Like if you're looking at a mid-40s white man who said he was retired, would he be asking all these questions versus a mid-40s black woman? So Stephanie in here with all the I really like this story. Y'all know I love food. I love food. This is a link to an article I wrote for Photos about some of my favorite restaurants in the city. Check it out if you're coming to the city. My skin routine is moisturize and moisturize and moisturize some more and just moisturize and just moisturize some more. That's it. wash, a hydrating toner, a hydrating serum, a hydrating essence, a moisturizer, slap some Aquaphor on at night. That's it. Some sunscreen in the daytime, moisturize. And I'm not naming brands because I don't think brands are that important. I think it's just like that the type of product, not the actual brand. All right. Be intentional about the life you want, not passively accepting shit you don't want. What did Coach Stormy say? You can't let these people put this on your plate. You can't let them put just anything on your plate, your low vibrational plate. I'm going to eat a low vibrational ass Thanksgiving plate, y'all. Tell my bestie, I need her to sit at the left arm of a Black grandma so that she can unlearn some of her cooking errors. Now, she's a great cook, right? But she says things like, she said something about like powdered ginger yesterday. And I was like, what do you do with powdered ginger? And she was like, sweet potatoes. And I was like, I don't feel like powdered ginger goes in like Great Aunt Doris's sweet potatoes. I feel like powdered ginger. I could be wrong. But she was like, caramelized sweet potatoes, powdered ginger. And I was like, this feels Canadian and I don't like it. I don't like it. So I don't know how we got here. Oh, low vibrational plates. Yes, very low vibrational. The lowest of the low. Give me some sea roaches, please. Please. And thank you. Lowest of the low. You can't just accept what anybody puts on your plate. That's the lesson, but like without embarrassing people. All right. Am I comfortable talking about the money I make from YouTube? Yes. And the new channel, there'll be a lot more content about that. But to give you an idea, I've made, we're not going to count January and February because I don't remember how much money I made because I didn't work on it all in December. I've told you guys before that because I didn't work in December, January and February were really low. But the other, I just don't remember how low they were right now. The other months, I've made between $500 and $1,500 every month. It's not enough to not work, but it's enough to buy equipment like a new microphone, right? So that you guys stop complaining about the one I had before, right? YouTube pays for itself. I haven't gone. The video I release the other day about carbon monoxide in Mexico City was the first time I created a pre-recorded video in about 3 months because of a summit. I hadn't been doing that stuff. And I'm still making the same amount of money, between $500 and $1,500 every month. So that's going live. That would mean going live 4 times a month or less, 3 times. So with the summit, I wasn't doing that. So between 2 and 4 times a month. Yeah. It's not a lot of money. It's not life-changing money. It could be for you in the sense that like you could do more and make more money. But I'll get into more detail of that on the new channel when I release the new channel, which is going to be sometime. I'm going to say soon, but you hear me being very non-committal. I know how to commit to things and say by this date it will be released, and I'm not doing that. I'm being very non-committal. We know what we're doing. All right. Let's see. What else are we talking about? Oh, so Paula was in a group and she posted someone else's travel video, and then they attacked the creator of the video. Yeah, girl. Some people just wanna be unhappy. Some people thrive. They get their energy from arguing with people online, and some people are just unhappy. And if I see anyone having any moment of happiness, they're going to be upset. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm saying that's what happens in a lot of times. Okay. I'm not about to argue with you because you're not happy. Seek therapy and leave me alone. Okay. Um, hey T Walker, if you need the residency in Mexico workbook, those were emailed to everybody. So check your email. The same email address that you would have gotten the Zoom link on, the next day the workbook was sent to you. All right. You know the deal, Tony. But like a man enters this space, sees what we're talking about, and then asks our it does say ask me anything. But why would you bring up Kevin Samuels? I don't talk about dating on this channel. I don't talk about men. I don't center men on this channel. Nothing about this conversation is about I don't think I've ever even said Kevin Samuels on the channel before. That was a low vibrational ass man. That was a low vibrational man. What are my thoughts on him? He lived a low vibrational life. And now he's dead. Well, I don't know why you would like what do you want? But when you open yourself up to a place like this and say, like, ask me anything, here come strangers asking questions like that. What? That man been dead for months. Why are you still asking about him? Why ask people what they think about him? Why would you? Now you gotta get blocked. The question of why don't women like nice men? I ignored that because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to bait us into some kind of argument. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in centering men ever, ever. Uh, But look how you've come in here, changing the theme of the discussions. Boo. Find some friends. Find some friends. If you're a man, what I want you to do in 2023 is find a therapist and find some friends who really care about your mental health. You're too old not to have either of those. Friends who really care about your mental health so you can stop harassing women online, expecting them to do the emotional labor for you. I'm not. No. All right. Let's see. Y'all. Cosette, my partner and I are reunited when I visit next month. Then she's moving to Colombia in May. I came last year to start a family. This year I have one. Y'all. I'm guessing she came to Colombia last year to start a family. And this year Cosette has one. Y'all, I'm so proud. I'm so happy for you. I'm so, 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 so happy. This is amazing. That's amazing news. Put the effort in. You'll get what you want. I love it. I love it. All right. Yes. So, okay, so let's go back to immigration real quick. For a lot of countries, a lot of citizens of other countries who want to come to America, they have to prove that they have enough resources. They can't just buy a ticket. Like they have to show. My friend who's coming from China to get a visa, she has to show how much money's in her bank account. She has to bring her bank statement, and not just like, do you show us your bank statements that you have enough money that you're going to come and you have a reason to leave. You're not going to come and just stay. Like they think that America and some other countries think that like people are just dying to get in and stay because it's so wonderful here. But and so if they think that you're coming and you're not going to leave, one of the ways they look for that is, do you have enough money to support yourself? If you don't, they won't let you in. But that's usually if there's a visa application. That's where they figure that out. At the border, I think my suspicion of that question is more like, can we trust that you're not doing something illegal for money right now, right? Currently, do we need to go inside your bags? Oh yeah, they can. A lot of countries will be like, you can't, which is why the passport you're traveling on determines how easy it is to get into some countries because people assume like, what is it? I think in the UK they had stopped processing Ghanaian visas. I might have those countries wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the UK and I'm pretty sure it was Ghana or maybe Nigeria. One of those two. And the idea is that, like, not specifically for that situation, but a lot of situations, the reason it's harder, a lot of African passports are harder to travel on. The assumption is that, oh, you're from Africa, you don't have any money. You can't afford to be here. So we're not letting you in. Where did that idea come from? From centuries of stealing resources from these countries, from these same countries. Anyway, yeah, they can deny you. If they don't think you have enough money, they can deny your visa application. And if they think if they don't have a clear sense of how you can afford to travel when you get to the border, they will become more suspicious that you're doing something illegal. So I was like, no, okay, sorry. Let me give you the correct answer. So we don't have to spend an hour going through my suitcase. We just give it to you because I don't want to do this. All right. Let's see. Occupation, avocado smuggler. This is actually a good one. Who would let me like the reason I can travel is because I don't have an employer. I don't have a regular job. That's why. If I did, I'd be at work. Leave me alone. Let's see. On the ground. On the ground. In the basement. Center of the earth. My plate's gonna be in hell. Thank you very much. I don't usually cook when I come here. I literally will be like, when will dinner be ready? Thank you. I'll play with the kids until then. But then every once in a while I make things that are just ridiculous. Like a couple years ago, I made marshmallows was my contribution for the kids, marshmallows and like dipping chocolate. And their dad was like, this is what you're doing? I handmade marshmallows in the kitchen. And I made like they have one of them hot fire bowl dip things for cheese. Fondue. They have a fondue bowl. And he was like, you come to my house and get these kids all hopped. I was like, yes, I'm that aunt. Like, you know me. You've known me for a long time. He might actually be close to, he's over 50, over 15 years. But I don't know. How old am I now? No, maybe 20 years. Over 20 years. I've known the man. You've known me for over 20 years. You know, every time I show up, I'm spoiling your children. Yes, I'm going to hop them up on sugar, dipped in sugar, and then creep downstairs to my bed in the basement while you deal with them upstairs. Low vibrations. Thanksgiving, I'm here to ruin them. And they still have Halloween candy. I'm here to ruin your kids. And then go to bed on a different floor. Thank you. Thanks. So I told my friend, she was like, I think the recipe I have has powdered ginger. And I was like, show me a photo of who made that recipe. And she was like, I already know. And I was like, exactly. Exactly. I don't want a powdered ginger recipe, sweet potato it was actually about, yeah, caramelized sweet potato recipe your grandmother would have made. I want one my grandmother would have made. You see that? You see that? You need more elderly Black women in your life. Powdered ginger? I said no. Mm-mm, absolutely not. Um, no. To answer your question, the recent fatalities of U.S. residents in Mexico. Okay, so a very notable one was like, as far as we can tell, it looks like allegedly her friends killed her. Friends. Um, the general on the street Mexican does not care about that. That's not like y'all brought your crime with you to the country, but left us out of it. We're not even talking about it. We're not even talking about it. And then the carbon monoxide stuff, it's not gonna have any impact on like how Mexicans feel about Americans coming here. I hope people who are opening their homes to people, whether that's Airbnb or some other rental platform or anywhere else, they have more conversations about using space heaters because that's I don't know for sure if that's a problem, but I suspect that that's part of the problem. And about ventilation, uh, in Mexico, um, we're very used to being a little colder in the winter in Mexico City, right? Like my heater's not probably gonna go on until December, until January. My heater's probably not going on until January. Um, but if someone was visiting, especially if they're expecting Mexico to be this like warm paradise, they're probably putting it on way before I do. Um, but no, I don't. It's not going to cause any friction. Mexico City is a city of at least 23 million people. Last week, four, 4 Americans died in the city that we know of. There may have been more. I don't know, but four out of a city of 23 million. It's not causing the conversation that it is in the U.S. It just isn't. Okay, so Roxanne is in Panama with paella and gumbo. I'm interested if the same person who's making the paella is making the gumbo and what that means for the quality of either. Like, because I feel like gumbo needs a strong gumbo arm. Like, you need to have been like, I've never made gumbo, but I feel like to make gumbo for Thanksgiving dinner, you need to be like steeped in gumbo culture. I also feel the same way about paella. And that's why I'm curious about if one of those is going to be lacking or if they're both like someone or coming from different places, different people are making them, or if one person has been steeped deeply in the culture of both. Because the reason I don't make gumbo is I know y'all be talking about people who mess up gumbo. Y'all be talk gumbo is too expensive. Them ingredients are too expensive for you to be talking about me when I make it because I've never made it before. No, who knows how to make gumbo? Nobody, like, we are not from the South. We don't know how to make gumbo. I've never cooked a thing inside the state of Louisiana. What? I know nothing about gumbo. So I'm curious about this. All right. All right, we are going to wrap this up soon because I'm hungry. Morocco news? None. In progress, no news. All right. So you guys went to Adelia's workshop this weekend, Friday, on aligning goals, time, and money. You went to getting residency in Mexico. We had a very good week. Mm-mm. We had a very good week. Let's see. Let's see. Adelia, did you drop the link for your workshop? Oh, can they get it on the replay or no? I think it might be too late to get it. I don't know. Yes. So what I was saying before about immigration is about almost all countries. If a lot of countries have a list of countries that they don't feel are as economically strong as they are, and those are generally the countries that need visas. If it's not every if it's not that everyone coming from another country needs to get a visa, the countries there's usually a line. Like these countries don't need visas, and it's very European. It's very white, Western and white. These countries don't need visas, and these countries down here, these browner ones, do need visas. Um, and so yes, for a lot of countries, you need to prove your income. A lot of them, but because so many of us travel on U.S. passports, and because U.S. passports are generally on the list of if there are countries that are allowed in without a visa, the US is a lot of times on that list. We don't realize how hard it is to travel from one place to the next. Americans don't because they don't have the visa and passport issues that a lot of other countries do. All the time. US immigration be like, "You're coming in? Tell us." I remember driving up from Tijuana once into Mexico. My passport was issued in Ohio. And so the immigration officer looked at my passport and he was like, "How long are you going to be here?" And I was like, as I'm driving into the US, I'm like, "Until? I don't know." And he was like, "No, but like how long?" And I was like, "I don't," and I was like, I was like, I don't, I literally had to say, like, "I don't understand your question." He's like, "How long are you going to be in Southern California?" And I was like, "You're a border agent. You are a US border agent, not a state, not like a regional agent. I have a passport. I have citizenship for the US. Once I enter the country, why do you need to know how long I'm gonna be in one part versus another? What w I'm a big proponent this is where I get into trouble. I don't get into trouble, but this is where I struggle at places like borders and talking to immigration, um, officers. Ask the question you want answered, but a lot of times they can't ask that question because it's illegal. Like when I was leaving Israel, and the question they want answered is, "Am I Muslim?" So they ask all kinds of questions. Like I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to ask that question. So they ask all kinds of questions. What languages are spoken in the home? What holidays are spoken in the home? I want to get on. I'm at the airport. I'd like to get on a plane and leave this country. You want to know what holidays I celebrate? You want to know what language my parents speak? I just want to enter. I just want to enter the airport. I've already been let into the country. I just want to leave. And you're asking me a whole bunch of questions because you can't I don't think you can ask the one you want to ask. The US, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know I cannot tell what question you're really asking me. Because the question you're asking doesn't make sense. Immigration officer, why do you want to know how long I'm going to be in the Southern California area? He's like, well, you live in Ohio, so how long are you going to be here? As long as I want. As long as what is it? Boy, if you don't get away from me, but you give them a little bit of power. You give people a little bit of power and they act wild. All right. How cold does it get in Mexico City? In the winter, it'll get to like low 40s at night. In the sun, even in the winter, if you can get some sunshine, it'll be like a 70-degree day. It's fine. Um, let's see. For residency in Mexico, you can either we talked about this at the workshop, which if you're thinking about it, I really recommend getting. But you can prove how much money you have for if you want to get the financial solvency. If you want to get residency through financial solvency, you can prove how much money you have by bank account statements or income. Big details at exodussummit.com/Mexico. All right. All right. Yeah, no, it's not the airport, I'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Nope." Like I said with the lady the other day, I was like, "Oh, no, let me not." I am not answering this question the way she wants it to. But there have been times. So even with global, you guys are talking about this in the comments. Even with global entry, even coming into the U.S., I have been questioned like, "What were you doing in this country? Why, like in another country? What were you doing there? How long?" And I'm like, "I was on vacation. What do you think? Like I have global entry. At this point, it's just supposed to be a scan, scan, walk, and you are not letting me pass you until you're satisfied that what." But I have an Arabic name. And so I have fun airport experiences all the time, all the time. I'm brown and maybe a Muslim. I mean, the airport, like, whatever we got to go through, let's just do it. Whatever it is, let's just do it. Let's just do it. All right, I'm getting out of here. Um, Thanks everyone for being with us today. I had scheduled a live with the membership that should have started 10 minutes ago, but I canceled it last night because I thought we are going to be at the soccer game. I'm not going to do it now because I need to eat. Um, we'll schedule it for later on in the week. We'll do it later on in the week, maybe when the kids are at school. Otherwise, they're going to want to be in your face. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out. I will talk to you guys later. It's been fun. And oh, someone asked about the sweatshirt. It is from the Black Joy Parade in Oakland. I got it 5 years ago. I got it in 2018, I think. So on the back it says Black Joy, Oakland. Good times. I love living in. I hated working in the Bay Area. I loved living in the Bay Area. I'll say that. Bye, y'all. Thanks for hanging out.